Hey there. This is just sort of came after pretending to play. Well, actually, what it is, I was playing with circles of fire, like buzzsaws. You ever seen the Sawtooth Mountains in Idaho? If you ever get the opportunity to go up, I forget the name of the highway, the state highway. It goes out of Idaho Falls and it goes eastbound. You look at a map where Idaho Falls is, take it like you want to go to Jackson Hole, Wyoming, or a couple other towns which would be on the sort of the Idaho Wyoming border. You can make a little jog instead of going down the highway that follows the river to take that up into Jackson Hole. I think the place is called Pine something. Pineville, I forget. But if you go to the left, you come up over this little ridge line, and it drops down on what's called Victor and Driggs. Now you're on the west side of the Grand Tetons, and if you go to the right, you can go up over the top of the mountain, and then you can overlook Jackson Hole, Wyoming. Now you're looking on the top of the ridge line between what would be the east side of the Grand Tetons, standing on, you can look behind you on the west side of the Grand Tetons. Spectacular landscape, boy. But nevertheless, there's if you come out of Idaho Falls, like you're heading in that direction, and you get towards the outskirts, you start making an incline. You start climbing up out of Idaho Falls, and still as you start to climb, now you're getting that, the inclines. In other words, now you're getting a view of the desert, which is where the Idaho Falls National Engineering Laboratory is, which is where I worked as an independent contractor. Okay, and then you have what's called the craters of the moon, which is Jesus. Energy. That everything is energy. So I'm a sponge. But nevertheless, if you look during a sunset, particularly in the summertime, actually any time of the year, but particularly in the summertime when it's nice and warm out, you'll get that down canyon, a little bit of that down canyon breeze that blows at your back, like it's going down towards Idaho Falls. It would be like what you call an offshore flow. Down canyon winds at night, up canyon winds during the daytime, just as the sun's beginning to set. And you can see the saw blade. You can see the lines, which are the fire lines, right? Yeah, that is. So that's like a saw. So imagine that you have a circular saw, just like a circular saw. You know what a circular saw is on a flat plane to cut a piece of wood, right? Those are like jaws, right? Circular fire. So I was listening to a couple of songs, one of which was by Led Zeppelin with, what's his name? John Paul Jones. Love John Paul Jones. And Jimmy Page on guitar, and Bonham is no longer there, right? But this is a great drummer, and they were playing a beautiful song called Kashmir. I love the organ in that song. Very powerful. And this is particularly true when you start working with energy in the flow, in the form of using your hands and your feet, because I'm a musician, a spiritual musician. So that's the form and the flow of the energy. So I'm using fire and colors as I'm listening to that music in my own way, which means when you get into geometric patterns or patterns of behavior, predicted patterns of behavior, this AI can't predict that because the speed at which, if you will, the music is filling up the line. In other words, there isn't any spaces in between, is that because you're on fire, right? And you're experiencing your love of music. So the spirit is in the music, and that's what we call a live one. You're a live one. And this is for me, when you're in the healing business. is extremely painful when you come into a fallen musical system. That's what it is. When it falls in spirit, it falls in music, not in harmony, right? So it's when this is when we get into that terminology, the Walking Dead and all that, and I've mentioned through my experiences what I've learned since I was 4 years of age, right? Like I've shared with you one time, I used to go down to what was known as the Rendezvous Ballroom. I was dancing with girls right out of the gate. Let's play some music, okay? Let's go create a universe together. That's the music we do it with, right? We're on fire. Fire is music. Fire's in the spirit. Spirit wants to dance. That's the fire. Okay? Spinning in the fire, right? Fire dancers. I'm a fire dancer. Okay? Fire and that spirit. Fire dancers. All right? So you see how that works in the form and flow of creative energy with the music that you're playing. So you want all the available ways in which you can make a sound with the form and the energy and the colors in which to do it with. So a lot of times when I listen to some of these other musicians, I'm doing my own thing. It's like when I used to go to different clubs, what's known as, you may have heard of this before if you love to dance, I'm what's called a freestyle dancer, which means it's not mechanical and you're not going to find another copy of it. You're not going to be able to replicate it. That's the point of it. It's not like it's self-replicating. It's going to be different all the time. That's how you know you're an original musician, an original spirit musician. So you know that when the music, the old song, what is it? Not the old song, but the old saying that goes, play it again, Sam. Misery loves company. Play the blues, right? Inverted stuff. So this is why, as a child, when I was a teenager growing up, we used to have dances all the time. We used to play music all the time. Music is the universe of communication, right? Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Remember when the big ship came in and they were using their electronic translators, their synthesizers, right? They understood the music of math. Okay, so the math was communicating between one system, one beings who come from another part of the universe, if you will. There's their ship, and they're playing music. So they can translate the music, which is the math, which is the language of communication. All right? Yeah. So we love music. We're original musicians. And so therefore we know how to communicate in music, in sound. It gets translated as mathematics, as a language. So you live in a musical universe. Music is a communication. And that's because the spirit loves to dance. The music is what moves the spirit, which is the form in which it takes. That's why plants are musical plants. That's why I'm a nature boy, nature girl, wound up as one. I am the one. Okay? So when you're making observations, when you're around groups of people, just minding your own business, so to speak, but if you're in cities or even country areas, wherever you happen to go, because I've had the great pleasure and honor of being in so many different places that were playing a lot of different kinds of music. That's why I used to love to go to Disneyland when I was a teenager, because you could go to Tomorrowland and they play one form of music. Then you could go to New Orleans Square, listen to jazz, polka music, right? Bavarian stuff, right? So if there's a musician built in you, you love all the instruments that are available to you to play music, right? Including ones that are natural. When you're out in nature, I'm playing music, and when I'm playing music, which is the music and the language of the math, right? So you're naturally playing music, just who you are. You're playing music. Are the waves distorted? Or are you playing music that are waves in harmony and balance and rhythm with the water worlds, right? And are you on fire to play music, which is the spirit of fire that is in you to experience the music that you're playing, right? And so one of the ways when you're on a fallen spiritual system is the music, is to observe by virtue of observing spirit. How much spirit is in the music, right? Right? How much love is being experienced? The love of music, which is the love of dance, right? Because the spirit loves to dance to music, real music, which is real living light music, which is love music, which is a love vibration music. Now you got all the other frequencies that are represented by the math, if you will, which is all the color codes upon which musicians are playing those frequencies, which is the communication. And so that particular song, I love that song because of the organ. I love the organ that John Paul Jones is a great organist, but he's not just that, he's also a good bass player. So I love all the different kinds of instruments, and the way that I can always tell whether or not the sounds that I'm experiencing, right, move me. And the more that it moves more of me, which means all my toes, all my fingers, my hands, my arms, everything that represents what I am in a physical form is all moving. That means that all the energy, all the frequencies, all the chakras, all the channels are open and playing music, clearing the circuits of anything that isn't in harmony, all the distortions. Yeah, baby, let's go. So this is where a lot of times you could see, for me, just in my own life book, from the places that I experienced them from or in, was music. How often people were going, a boy and a girl, okay, would go out and dance with each other. Or girls would go out to dance with each other. Or guys that would go out together, go dancing with girls. Or dancing, period. I've danced with guys before when there wasn't any girls out there, right? The spirit loves to dance, okay, to the music. So if you're playing music, that ought to bring out the life force, the spark, right? So you can tell what's called a live one from a dead one, right? Hey, where'd the spirit go in that? Right? Where'd the spirit go? Ooh, the essence is gone. The spirit's no longer there. See, and that's what's painful. Is the spirit left? Oh, where'd the spirit go? See? The dance, the form and flow, the energy. Wow, I was just experiencing a beautiful spiritual being. What happened? Right? That spirit plays beautiful music in the form in which it presents itself. The music that it presents. Right? The frequencies and the vibration that is presenting itself to you. The musician, the music. Right? Yeah. So you realize, sort of in a fallen spiritual system, it means the music went flat. What happened to the music? Nobody's dancing and celebrating life with love. Nobody's celebrating life with love of music. Celebrating in the streets. Celebrating with all the living spirits, which is all the elementals. Right? Bring the energy out. Bring the spirit out. Bring mama out. All the living spirits. Right? What we used to call raise hell, man. Which means bring all the fire out. Get a bonfire going on the beach and play some music with 1,000 people. Right? Yeah. Get 100,000 people out in the middle of the Mojave Desert in the springtime. Get a coil going, right? With a big-ass fire in the center. Get yourself, about 1,000 logs of dead wood. Light it up in the middle and lit all the ships up above. No, man, look at what they lit up down out there in the Mojave. You know what's out there in the Mojave, right? Yeah, or better yet, over there by Death Valley, over towards, what is it, Paw Rump? Where the old test site used to be? Out in that area, man. Let them know, hey. Hi. Remember that? With a feather in your hand. Dance. That's what we mean by a live one. We got a live wire. We got a live spirit over here. There must be a soul left in that. Yeah, of course. That's how you know a live one, right? A living spirit with a soul. Dancing to the music, playing music, baby. Playing music. Have a good night. Thank you for that song. Yeah, yeah, yeah.